Greetings, professional service firm owners. This is Dane Crowley with Diesel Digital, and let's talk about how to add more zeros to your bank account. The topic of today's video is going to be create a website for business, professional service firms edition. All right, so we're going to actually cover 10 topics. Try to knock this out within 20 minutes. So we're going to cover 10 topics. So again, like I'm not going to go super in depth, but I just want to make sure you have a general outline of some of the steps you're going to need to take to set up a website for your business. But for your professional service firm, but not just any old website. Something that's going to actually bring in business, something that's actually going to attract leads, something that's going to actually help you grow your business, help you take more time away from your business without losing production. Ultimately, just help you turn, use the internet as a full-time employee for your business. Like that's what we're going to talk about today, all right? So let's go ahead and dive on in. So we had 10 topics that I want to cover. These are 10 basic. Think of them more so again, like I think of this more so as a guide, as a framework. So none of this necessarily is a set in stone, or there's no. Think of it kind of like a skeleton. Like these are the bones. So we're not talking about any of the muscle tissues or the skin that goes on the skeleton yet, but we just want to make sure we at least establish some structure of what we want to do. So to do that, I like to start off with these 10 points here. So strategy, copy, domain name, site layout, site design, WordPress web hosting, site build, mobile responsive, SEO, and analytics. And so let's go ahead and dive on in. Now, first thing, strategy. What do you plan to do with your website? What type of impact do you want it to have on your business? Your strategy is ultimately going to determine, what type of website, you need to set up in regards to sections, what information needs to have, all that good stuff. So before you even think about picking colors, the domain name, or writing even a word of copy, like what is the plan? Like what is the strategy? What do you want your website to do for your business? Like what functions, what business tasks do you want it to accomplish? Because your business website for your professional service firm is more than just some fancy digital business card or interactive flyer. It can do more than just display information. But if your plan for your website is just to display information because you see some other company and that's what they doing, then you're gonna, like you said, that's the plan, just to mimic or just to duplicate what you see another company doing. So that is only going to get you so far. So what I want to do is share with you something specific you can do for your business so that your website actually completes tasks that you need done on a day in and day out basis. All right, so strategy, it can really boil down to, like I said, it could either be a digital flyer, a digital business card, or actually a digital employee. So I'm going to talk about how you can use your website as a digital employee for your professional service firm. All right. So that's our strategy for this video. How do we specifically, we're going to build a website, but our plan is to use this website as a digital employee for our business that actually accomplishes tasks that we need accomplished in the business. All right. So with that being said, I just want to set an example. So let's just say we're a tax accountant for this video. You know what I mean? So we're tax accountants. So again, the next step is going to be copy. So copy is going to be the words that you want to include on your website. So I've already kind of just pulled up, a Google search engine results page for tax accountant in Los Angeles. For tax accountant, I'm in Inglewood, California currently, so it's going to show us Inglewood. But the point is that I'm getting at here is, and then I went to the Google My Business listings. Then I just clicked on out of the top 3, H&R Block. That's kind of like a franchise. So, we're not going to use that as an example for, our professional services firm because, again, like this franchise is different. But I clicked, I saw that this AMF Tax Services, they have a website as opposed to for MBA Income Tax doesn't. So we're going to roll with that. But just from a looking at it perspective, again, Coming to copy, the first thing you're gonna want to do is, like I said, if you're a tax accountant, you're gonna want to put that in. You're gonna come to the Google My Business listings section, which is two. Then you want to look for the regular professional service firms. So like the income, not the non-franchises for the most part. So this is a professional service firm. This is a professional service firm. So AMF Tax Services. So the first thing you would want to do when it comes to copy is, again, we gotta first figure out, what the customer wants and what language that they're using. So because we want to speak their language. And, and the simplest way I believe you can identify these things is just by going to what the customers have already said about that specific service in your area. And we can find what they say from the reviews from these companies. So for example, we will click on AMF tax services, and we will go to reviews, and then again, you would just read the reviews. And what you're going to basically be looking for is things like, James has been helping me do my taxes and going out of the way to help me try to plan or to help me get my IP pin. So tax preparation, IP pin, that's a service that Brittany wanted. Salwa here, the office here, if you need your taxes or notary done. So this person's taxes and notary. She obviously went there for those. That person went for that. Cynthia Springer, the customer service has always been top notch, but I called through the last day to file my taxes. File my taxes. No hassle. You want to be conscious of things like that. So you just want to literally go through every review and literally identify like try to identify what this person went to, said company for. And then the little tidbits or gold nuggets, like a thing, and then like the languages that they use. So things like, no hassle. But I called them the last day to file my taxes. So that's important right there. Because this was a customer that was waited to the last minute to file their taxes. So that's a market in a sense. That's something that you want to be able to communicate on your website, literally with words. Like we serve people who are who need to get their taxes filed on the last who need to get their taxes filed on the last day of the tax season. Like that would be language that you would want to use on your tax accountant website. And then you would just go through that, go through every review. I mean, the top 3 companies. And I will say this, for the franchises, you can use it for research. So H&R Block, you can look at their reviews because, again, they're still a tax preparation service per se. So, I wouldn't necessarily look at H&R Block in regards to like, at the end of the day, it's a franchise. I wouldn't necessarily model my business. I wouldn't recommend you model your business after that, but I would say go to the mom and pops, because the people who go to the franchises are usually the people that saw it on TV. But the people that go to mom and pops or just regular non-franchise professional service firms, those are people who actually more than likely went to Google and did an actual search to try to find said company. So that's why their reviews, or they're just, it's going to have a little bit, in my opinion, they hold a little bit more weight than the franchises, because again, most people go to H&R Block not because they were looking for a tax accountant, but just because they remember seeing the commercial or hearing the ad on the radio. All right. So, but again, that's how we would start developing our copy. So there's actually I'll just share. His name is Wes McDowell. I believe that's his name. Yeah, Wes McDowell. Wes McDowell. He actually has I bought. Yeah, he has a course here. I bought his course about a year or so ago, a couple months, and that really helped me personally improve my ability to write copy. So if you want to improve your ability to write copy, then my man Wes McDowell here got you. So next, number 3, domain names. So domain names are pretty simple. Now I will say this. Here's a little tip about domain names. I'm guilty of this myself, but usually the first domain name that you think to get is obviously your company name. But in this digital landscape that we're now operating in as professional service firms, be mindful that domain names are, going to help you out a lot better than, let's just say, Johnny's tax, preparation services, or Jonathan Smith tax occult, accountant, like those, because again, no one doesn't know you per se yet. So they're not typing in Jonathan Smith unless they've heard about you from somebody and they're just looking you up. But the average, individual cold traffic, in a sense, or organic traffic, they don't know you. So they're using words like I said, tax preparation service, help filing taxes on last day. Like those are the type of keywords that they would be using. But again, those are also the keywords that you would learn to use from looking at the reviews and then just going to your tax preparation service. So real quick on keywords. So now this is AMF. So for example, they don't have services. So let's see. So it looks like they just income tax service. So we file your taxes. So that looks like they just file taxes here. But nevertheless, so they file taxes. So that file your taxes would be or file my taxes would be a keyword that they would target, or that would be like their primary keyword. File my income tax, or file your income tax, something along those lines. And then from there, they will build out their keyword list. So next, let's see. So we talked about strategy. We talked about copy. We talked about domain names. So you can go to I like to use a site like Namecheap. They usually have the best, prices. Namecheap. But again, this is solely just to buy your domain name, just the www, whatever name you're gonna get, .com, .net, .co, whatever. Now, web hosting is separate, which we'll talk about that later. But a lot of times people, they go to GoDaddy because that's just what they saw on TV or what they saw on the billboard. So they think that's usually the first place people are going to go. Now, personally, GoDaddy, from my experience, working with that service through some other professional service firms that I've worked for, work for and work with, I'll say. GoDaddy, everything is just a la carte. They want you to pay for every single service separately, but also, whereas other web platforms, they usually bundle a lot of this stuff up, and then it's in my opinion very complicated to use their back end, as opposed to what I currently use right now, which is DreamHost. But I've used HostGator and I've used Bluehost in the past. So usually I usually just go whatever. So number 6, we'll talk about web hosting, so I'll just wait till then. But for right now, domain name. So just come here, get your domain name. So again, ideally, a good domain name is going to be one with your primary or secondary or tertiary keyword. So the first, second, or third level keyword. So I should have said that first. So basically, your first primary, secondary, or third level keyword. Ideally, you want to use one of those for your domain name. But if you've already got your company name.com, then you can still use that. So number 4, site layout. So site layout just represents how the information is structured on your page. So in this case, the site structure, quote unquote, would just be like one column. So this it's sections. So the header section, then we got the hero section, then we got this content block section, then we got, which is a single block, and then we got this double 2-column block section, and we got this 1-column block section, then we got the footer. So just that's the basic site layout. But again, when it comes to establishing what your site layout is going to be, that's ultimately going to hinge on going back to the copy that you use. So the copy that you use ultimately needs to answer just important questions that a potential customer is going to have, so that they can complete their investigation of your business. So it's going to be things revolving around, is this person going to answer the call? Are they going to, show up and or be available when they say they're going to be available to do the work that I need for them to do? And, are they going to do a good job? Are they going to be thorough? So the better you are at communicating that with your words on your website, the more you will compel potential prospects to come and do business with you, as opposed to the competition. So again, so number 4 and 5, we'll combine those in a sense. So site design, site layout. So the layout, in a sense, is the how we structure our copy. That's pretty much what layout signifies. And then design is basically the general, look and feel of the site. So this is basically a quote unquote, I would label it just a basic design in that, it's not, it's just a white background with images and text on it. Like that's basically the premise. With some light gray, content section blocks to, break up just the all white scroll. But that's basically the premise of this site layout, site design. The site layout is basic. Now again, this basics, I'm not saying this doesn't or doesn't work for them, but again, when it comes to just doing the best you can to compel people to do business with you, they can definitely improve. There's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement. But I will say, just from skimming this site, they are using their copy to communicate to the potential customer that would land on this site. Okay, same day refund advance. That would be a benefit, on the day you file. So okay, and then largest refunds without. So that's basically a excellent, not an excellent headline. Obviously, there's one, but it's a damn good one. Only because again, people are filing their taxes not because they have to, but specifically because there's some incentive and they want that refund. So largest refunds without the problems. That's a good headline to start their content with. So I will commend them on that. But again, you know, there's still some areas of improvements. For example, I don't see any lead capture form. So be mindful that most people that come to a website initially don't buy right then and right there, and they don't contact you right. They call you specifically right then and right there. But if you did have some sort of free giveaway, like a cheat sheet of 10 or the essential items you need to get the largest refund possible. You set up a little a lead capture form just to get their first name and email address, and then you take that information and then you set up an email autoresponder, and then it will just send them the information. You won't even have to do anything. So that's a benefit of turning your website into an employee that actually accomplishes tasks, as opposed to just some flyer or business card that just displays information. So again, even though there are some good things about what AMF has done, there's still areas of improvement. All right, so we just covered site design, site layout. So now 6, WordPress hosting. Again, I like to use a site called I'm currently using it for the most part, DreamHost. But you can use any site, in my opinion, use any there's like I said before, there's DreamHost, there's Bluehost, there's WP Engine, there's HostGator, and for the most part, all those sites, even GoDaddy comes with WordPress on it. But again, in my opinion, GoDaddy is just a little bit tougher to use, and this is coming from a guy who considers himself to be tech savvy. It can be confusing to me at times. So, but again, DreamHost, Bluehost, those are pretty much, in my opinion, straightforward, easy to use, simple. So that's why I use them. But again, I will usually use the one that has the best deal at the time. So as we can see here, they're now doing, starting at $259 a month. Now, be mindful. All of them are going to have a great introductory price for the first years. So just be mindful. Look at what the actual real cost is going to be for your annual hosting plan after that first year. All right. So next, site build. So during the site build, so once we have our strategy for our website, we've written out the copy, all of the copy for every section that we want to have for the website. And again, so your copy is also kind of like a way for you to set up your site tree or your site outline. Which is going to let you know which pages you need to have, or depending upon how you. Now, my opinion, my strategy, I typically use the menu approach as well, or in that. I want, we got to be mindful that when people are landing on your website, so again, they're actively searching for stuff, so you don't got all day to convince them, and so we don't want to necessarily make them take have to do too many clicks to go dive deep into the website to get the information that they need. So one page websites, in my opinion, are the best. in this regard, because now one main page website, that doesn't mean you just don't, you don't have other, core pages, because you still got to have core pages for other aspects of generating, attracting customers. But for the most part, your landing page or your home page, that front page, like that's really where you need to put a lot of, most like 90% of your energy and effort for your website into that page, because again, that's more often than not, it's usually, I believe, based on the last stats that I saw, it's your home page and your about page. Those are the two most important pages people go to. So why not just put all that information on one page? But again, I digress. So site build, that's just going to be number 7. That's just going to be you just taking the steps to, like I said, get the website together. So whatever like I said, ideally you want to use WordPress as your content management system. But if you decide just to use a website builder like a Weebly or a Squarespace or a Wix, then no, that's your choice. Now, personally, I don't use those and prefer to use WordPress, because you get more control of the design and layout of the site with WordPress, as opposed to the fixed designs and layouts that are typically going to come with website builders. All right. So number 8, mobile responsiveness. This one is very important. And I see this a lot missing on a lot of websites, but you need to have a website that is mobile responsive because of some little invention that was created around 2007-ish or 8-ish, which is the smartphone. And the reason why is because, like I said, everyone's connected now. When people are out and about, or they're just living their life, they're pulling out that smartphone and they're looking for whatever they're looking for. So if your website isn't mobile responsive, then you're gonna don't miss out on an opportunity to generate a lead, simply because your website isn't mobile responsive. And when the potential customer, looked at your website on their website, they couldn't scroll over because, your site wasn't mobile responsive. So now they can't even access your form to become a lead. So don't miss out on business over things you can just simply fix. So again, make sure your website is mobile responsive. And that's another reason why I like to use WordPress and a specific plugin called Elementor, because Elementor is like a website builder that comes with WordPress. But I like specifically Elementor because it is a website builder, but most importantly, you still have 100% control to set up and design, to lay out and design the site, and to accomplish the goals that you want for yourself. So yeah, make sure it's mobile responsive. Now, here's as an example, plumber. So here's actually just a practice page that I just to keep my skills sharp, like you're saying, because I practice what I preached. So this is actually a plumber page that I just set up just to practice what I preach. But the point I'm making is for mobile responsiveness. So if you were to look at this website, this is what it will look like on a regular desktop computer, as we see. But if, let's just say we wanted to, but if we were to look at it on a phone, so you see how the site is moving. Pay attention to the top here. So this section, you see how it's moving. So that would be pretty much a tablet, how it will look. This is pretty much how the site will look on a tablet. So it responded to the dimensions of the browser in which it was being viewed from. So we see, boom, 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 boom. But then if we were looking at it on a cell phone, it just gets smaller and smaller. So this is how the website will look like if we were viewing it on a cell phone or a smartphone. So this is mobile responsiveness, all right? But again, this whole plumbing site that I built, it was all done on with WordPress through Elementor. And as you can see, you just gotta literally click a button and then do a couple of tweaks, and then boom, the site does it. But it does that automatically as we see the site moving based upon the layout. But that's what you want, all right? Because think about it. Right now, this is on the desktop. It's the hero section here. It's 2 column. But then we come down to like a tablet size, which is here. Now you see how it's as if it's just like one column, everything one column. And then we come even smaller to a smartphone. Now it's just that. So that's mobile responsiveness. Next, SEO. So search engine optimization, that's how you include the keywords that you put together with your list so that people, come to your website as opposed to, or that to make your website more discoverable, I should say. Make sure that you're getting found in the search engines. So on this page, for example, things like plumber in Los Angeles, that's a keyword. So what I would encourage you to do is first write your copy, like we talked about in number 2, for every section. And then after you've actually built the site, then go back through and start making sure that you go back through and add your keywords, because you want you want your copy to speak your customer's language. So you want to speak, in a sense, in a conversational tone. You don't want to necessarily sound like you're talking to a robot, which is like plumber in Los Angeles, need plumber in Los Angeles. Like, you don't want to be that. So first write your copy as if you are talking to your prospective customer. Then go back and start figuring out where you can include, your keywords. So again, plumber in Los Angeles is the main keyword. Then we come down, and I'm pretty sure, I've did it in some other areas, but then you would just go through every section and you would just see where you can include your keywords. And then boom, you know what I mean? You're good to go. And last but not least, analytics. So that will be Google Analytics. Analytics, booyah. So Google Analytics, again, that's just a site that you want to. So first, you would download a plugin, and then you would just set up a Google Analytics account. I don't want to go ahead. I just want to go to Analytics, Google, and so Google Analytics. I guess it wants me to line. But nevertheless, Google Analytics, this is what you would do. But basically, Google Analytics is Google software that helps you track, how people are finding your website, so that you can then use that data to optimize your digital brand to show up in the spaces that people are finding you in a lot better. And then that's, pretty much it. So, like I said, we just covered, create a website for business, professional service firms edition. And we talked about 10 topics. You want to come up with a strategy. What's the plan for the website? Like you said, this video was for people who want to use their website as a digital employee, not necessarily a digital business card or a digital flyer. Next, we talked about copy, the words that we want to use on the website to compel people to do business with us as opposed to our competition. Then we talked about domain name. Ideally, it would be best to get a domain name that is one of your keywords. But if you're like me, sometimes you just can't resist the temptation to use your company name. Next, site layout and site design. So site layout being just how you're going to structure the content, the copy on your page, and then site design being like the look and feel, of the website. Number 6, WordPress Web Hosting. So again, I personally use DreamHost, but you can also use sites like Bluehost or HostGator. But if you must use it, you can use GoDaddy as well. Next, 7, site build. That's just basically going through the process of now taking, your copy. So one thing I didn't mention was, in addition to copy, that's also too where you start gathering, your other content, like your images, your pictures, and your videos. But going back to site build, that's when you put all that stuff together to put together a full-fledged website. Next, site build. 8, mobile responsiveness. Make sure your website is mobile responsive, because you don't want to miss out on a sale simply because people couldn't get to the button or see the phone number or the email address that they need to see to get in contact with you. And number 9, search engine optimization, SEO. Like, after you've built the website, then before you launch, then you go back and you start including your keywords so that your website comes across as conversational, speaking the customer's language, not necessarily a robot. So you don't start off your copy off with your keyword, because then if you do that, then again, you'll sound like a robot. So you want to be able to speak to your customer with conversational copy, but you also want to speak to the search engines with your keywords. And last but not least, analytics. So once again, track, website tracking is the basic, the basic gist of it. And then again, use the data to optimize your digital brand. All right, so that does it. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me, shoot me a message on whatever platform that you're currently viewing this on, or if you're ready to get started on, turning your digital brand or your website into the #1 salesperson for your professional service firm, head over to dieseldigital.com to schedule a call today. I look forward to speaking to you. Peace.